Hey, grace and peace. Lou here for UFL devotional for week one of the playoffs. All right, I'll be reading from Romans 13, verses 1 to 3. And they read as thus: Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval. Is the reading of God's word. Now, it's interesting that I chose this particular verses, especially for the fact that we just finished our election. Now, there are many that may not agree with who won or have an issue with whatever, but the one thing that here in verse 1, it says that there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. So, in other words, God is the one who places our leaders in the office. Now, we might think, especially with some who might think with the 4 years of Biden, how horrible the economy has been, or whatever, whatever. But in all of that mess, God still receives glory. God allows things to happen because men are sinful. You know what I'm saying? We have all an issue with sin, where sin runs rampant in a lot of our lives. You know what I'm saying? We are free to sin, but at the end of the day, there's a consequence for that. But back to the to this verse, you know, I know for me, for example, I had an issue when Obama was president, and I kept blasting him on social media. And older brother in the faith DM'd me and was like, "Look, God is the one who placed him in power." So, in other words, my anger was more towards God when God knows way better than me. So now, here's the thing: respect your authority. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the authority that may be, whether it's the police, your governors, your mayors. Just remember that God has placed those particular people to be over us. Last thing is that this definitely applies to those who have put their trust and faith in Jesus Christ. My question to you, the listener, is: have you done that? Have you put your trust and faith in Jesus Christ? Because at the end of the day, no matter who's in power, when you die, you're going to have to stand before a just and holy God. And if he sees your sin, there's only one place that you will go, and that'll be to hell, where the punishment is eternal. I would just encourage you to seek after God, ask him to forgive you of your sins. Start off with reading the book of John, or John and the book of Romans. If you have any questions, you can ask any of us here on the staff of UFL. And with that, let me pray. Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for this time, Lord. We thank you for your grace and your mercy, Lord. Just ask you, Lord, to bless the hearer, Lord. Lord, that you may prick their heart, Lord, and they may come running to the feet of the cross, Lord. Lord, we just pray for the remainder of this season, Lord. We thank you, Lord, that there have been no major injuries, Lord. And Lord, that your word will continue to go forth. Just thank you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, guys. All right. I'm excited. I want to thank y'all guys for being with us today. Welcome to Real Tough Talk. I'm Stephen J. With my partner Ghost, my partner Lou the Shooter, and we're here to bring you guys UFL Wildcard Playoffs time. Playoffs. 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 We're in the playoffs. Wildcard. Don't Sleep versus Primetime. Monarchs versus LES. What's going on, fellas?
Listen, it's funny how it feels like it's zoomed by, but it also felt like a long time coming at the same time. It's hard to really explain it. It's like it came too fast, but yet it took too long. So, we're finally here regardless of what. We got some good games going on this wild card day, and I'm just excited to cover it all.
It's funny because this season has kind of gone by rather fast. And I'm so happy that it hasn't rained, so I wouldn't have to hear Stephen J cry about the rain every week. And the season's almost over. I'm a little sad, but yet I'm a little happy that I don't have to hear someone.
All right. First game we're gonna go over is Don't Sleep versus Primetime. Don't Sleep comes in 4-5. Primetime comes in 3-6. These teams met in a regular season where Primetime was able to come away with the win 18-0. Now, Ghost, give me your thought on Don't Sleep. They come in this game, 6th in interception, 8th in sacks, 8th in offense, 5th in defense. You start first, Ghost.
With what this team has been in terms of stats wise and standings wise, they've been on the back end in this league. They have been probably on the bottom half pretty much for most of the stat line, and they still remained, almost above, 4-5 is saying a lot for a team that's on the back end in terms of all of those stats. So that showed that on most of their games, they showed the ability to compete regardless of what's going on. And that's one of the reasons why you cannot take your eye off this team, because they will surprise you at any given moment. It's all up to how they show up on the field and what type of game they give you, starting with Mick. Depending on what game he gives you, it depends on what the outcome of the game is. If he gives you a good game, they have a chance of winning. If he gives you a bad game, they pretty much have no chance. So not to say that's all on him, but a part of it says that it is.
And before Lugo, Don't Sleep, they finished their last game. They beat GTM. And they have Alex and Shannon as their draft picks. Alex did not play all season. Mm-hmm. He threatened them that he wasn't going to play, and he's a man of his word. He did not play the whole season. So that was a first round draft pick lost. Then Lou, we got you. We talking about Primetime. Primetime's coming in 3-6. Primetime's number 7 in offense. Primetime is the 9th defense. Primetime, 2nd in sacks, but 10th in interceptions. And they coming in off of a loss. They lost to UTF. Their draft picks was Lil and Sal with starting quarterback Chris. Your thoughts, Lou?
You said there was 7th in offense?
Yes.
Wow. The reason I say wow, because we always talk about Tiki being a good offensive coach, and he ended up 7th.
Well, his quarterback led the Western Conference in touchdown passes.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they ended up 3-6. You know what I'm saying? I thought they would have had a better record because they have a decent team. They just haven't. I think their record would be better if everybody made games. You know what I'm saying? We've seen where some guys couldn't make it. We already know where Sal would work. That's totally different as opposed to some of the other players where in the beginning of the season you had Tiki playing. Right. So, I guess it's surprising that they ended up 3-6 just because of all of that, But anyway, they have a good young team. You know what I'm saying? These kids got a lot of energy. Randy at Giver has been playing extremely well. Their defense needs some help, you know what I'm saying? But I'm looking for a good run from them come the playoffs, just so Tiki can shut you up.
All right. We're going to jump into the game. Remember, Primetime played Don't Sleep during the regular season and beat them 18-0. We'll jump into the game. Don't Sleep. We'll have Shannon. Obviously, they won't have Alex. And Primetime will have Sal, but they didn't have Lil, who was their first round pick. He didn't make any games this season. He got caught up with work. He's in the class, so he was not able to make it. So we're gonna wish him good luck, and we're sorry that we didn't get a chance to see him this season. But we'll jump right into the game. Third down at the 49-yard line. Chris will block it for Speedy. Throws Enrique in the gap for a nice gain and a first down. Richards flag for the holding. Speedy's a great blocker.
Yep.
And he's able to shut down any one of these guys, bringing pressure to Chris. Rich is a good pass rusher, but he's not going to get by Speedy. Speedy with the great blocks. Enrique is a guy who I think the league needs to make noise about. He's a capable player on both sides of the ball, especially defensively, and it's a great play to get the guys moving so far. Chris gets the ball again. He scrambles or blocks for Speedy, but is sacked by Shannon. Ghost, this is a great blitz by them. Shannon is up there for Johnny Rockstar. Heart and determination. Great play by him there to get the sack.
And way to take them by surprise. Speedy went to block, but it wasn't enough. I think that's Shannon being quick and being able to get by just enough to make the sack. Wait for him to stick to the play and put pressure on Chris enough to make a big play with that sack there.
Third down, Chris with blocker from Speedy, throws a sound at back of the end zone, high and drop. Fourth down at the 15-yard line. Chris on 4 rush, throws Enrique in the front of the end zone, low, incomplete. Turnover on downs. Don't Sleep is able to make the stop. Lou, Sal has to make that catch. He was drafted for a reason. He's supposed to be able to make plays other guys can't, and it's a huge drop. I put this more on a drop on Sal than Chris putting the ball too high.
Well, let me see. I'm looking at the thing is how high, because we know white boys can't jump. So, it wasn't up that high. He should have caught it. You're right. Absolutely correct. It touched his hands, and it wasn't the fingertips neither. Yeah, he should have definitely caught it. We already know how, in those chances you got to take. You got to take advantage of these opportunities.
All right, Mick gets the ball back. Mick with a screen to Shannon on the sideline. Shannon shakes Randy and runs for a decent gain. Now, this is how you started out. I like how they send Shaq out on like a sweep, and they give Shannon the ball in space. Shannon makes Randy a highlight reel. He puts him on his highlight reel. With this move, people kind of forget what Shannon could do, and you could tell by Lou's expression, he put this man on skates.
He wasn't even close to him.
Yeah.
And
that's like one of those. That's one of those crazy crossovers that you see in the NBA where the guy falls and then the person's open for the three-pointer and whatnot. Like, it looked like that, because as soon as Shannon made his move, you saw Randy take like 5 steps and fall on his back. Like, that was ridiculous. Now, granted, he didn't run for that much yards, but the fact that it happened shows that Shannon could catch somebody at any given time.
Look, at least you give Randy this much. He got up, dusted himself off, and made the tag.
Yeah.
After getting the first down, Mick would block it from Shaq. Throws the EB in the gap, picked off by Enrique, giving the ball back to Primetime. If you look here, Joel is open. This is a bad play. I think Mick got baited. If you look at this play, he's going to have CB going over the middle, right? Mike is going to come from your left side, your right to the left. Mm-hmm. But Mike stops. Yeah. So because Mike stops, Enrique is able to drop back and pick up the gap, because if Mike keeps going, Sal is right there. So for Sal and Enrique did not play together long and have that much of comfortability over the middle is great. So you see Enrique move back and bait Mick into this throw. Mick thinking he could get the ball over. You said it, Mick does not have the strongest arm. That is a bad play by Mick. Enrique picked him off and gets the ball to Primetime.
And you're right, because Mike stopping, it gave Enrique enough time to see the quarterback, because basically, like you say, baited him, and you could see where he was throwing. So obviously, if it's the ball isn't in front of you, it's going behind you, you have enough time to backpedal and get the pick. That was a big defensive play there.
After getting the first down, Chris on second down on 4 rushes, sacked by Rich before he can get the throw. Primetime can't get any further, they have to punt. This is another great defensive stop by Don't Sleep. They are playing great defense because they're patrolling, and Rich is a guy that's going to keep moving. I got to give Primetime props. I killed them all season for their defense, but they made a great stop, tying their interceptions for the year. I forgot to say that, with 1 in the playoffs to tie the regular season. But now Rich comes away with a sack for a team that was 8th in sacks. So they don't really sack the quarterback. But Rich made a great play here to get Chris, and that is how you want to do it. Forget what happened in the regular season, Lou. Make the plays now, and that's a great stop by Don't Sleep.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Rich is an Energizer Bunny. You're gonna have to shoot him, run him over with a truck, stab him, and he's gonna still get back up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the pressure. Look, they've been putting pressure on Chris for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And they just got to keep doing that to see if they're successful.
Well, Primetime has to punt. Don't Sleep gets the ball back. Second down, Mick with blocker from Shaq. Those are Joel in the gap for a decent game. Shaq is blocking great. This is why they needed him. He brings time. Now, he's been getting into it with Randy. I don't understand why, because you're already shutting Randy down. Randy's not capable of doing anything. Shaq got him in his pocket, and he's making some great blocks. Third down, Mick on 4 runs. Those are Joel in the gap who runs for a decent game, getting to the 45-yard line. Ghost, do you see what he's doing? He's taking the dump offs.
Mm-hmm.
He's thinking and ducking and moving here and there, and he's also killing the clock with these little dump off plays.
And those are plays that are made for Joel in the gap. He's able to get those short plays and extend the play, getting some good yardage, and he's running the clock because he's keeping the ball on the ground. So as long as you find Joel in the gaps, he can make plays like this. You keep the clock running, and you drive down the field slowly but surely. That's exactly how Don't Sleep's offense should be moving. That's what they're doing.
Taking out after getting the first down. Mick with blocker from Shaq. Those to Mike in the gap, getting him to the 10, the 20-yard line. They got Mick finding a play Casey style. Dink and duck, be boring, kill the clock. Now, when he has opportunity to go downfield, he can. I think Mick is a little more accurate than Casey. But I think KC's a better game manager than Mick, as Mick at times get out of sync and tries to do more than he should. But he's doing exactly what he needs to do, dinking and ducking. Third down, Mick on 4 rush, just gets the ball up to Mike in the middle, who gets to the 5-yard line. The question was he tagged? What do you think, Ghost?
Listen, that was a good blitz by Austin coming from the sideline that made Shaq have to adjust to him. And then by the time Randy got in, he was able to try to make a tag, but I think Mick just got it off right before that sack right there. And Randy's been working hard trying to get through Shaq this game, and he tries to make a play there. Unfortunately, Mick just got it off, probably a nanosecond. I don't know, but it's close enough that I had to slow it down. But yeah, I think he just got it off there.
That'll take us to 4th and goal. Mick throws to Shannon in the corner of the end zone for the touchdown, but Primetime challenges the play. Take me over the play, Ghost.
Listen, if you look here, it seems like Shannon, he broke away behind Austin on the sideline. He gets behind him and then he cuts to the outside. Now, if you look, and I'm going to switch the angle because they challenge it if the ball passed the plane when Shannon makes the catch. Now, look, this is my niece Dawn. This is, obviously of Dawn's Dimes. She's recording on the sideline. Shout out to her. She has the perfect shot here. And as you see, Shannon makes the catch right in front before going out of bounds. The ball clearly passes the plane. As you see the cone, you see where the ball is. He's right already past the plane as he makes the catch. Full grasp of the ball. Look at my angle here. His foot is inbounds. So we have both angles showing that he was inbounds. He makes the catch. That was a good call by the refs. That's a touchdown there. And that's a good throw by Mick finding Shannon in the corner there. That was just a great play for them to score their first touchdown.
Rich gets the extra point, 7-0. Lou, would you have challenges? What do you thought about it?
It was close, but seeing it, from Ghost's angle, he was in. But I'm saying it's a good challenge, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe from the position that they were at, they couldn't see clear enough. But on that play, Chris did the right thing. You know how we talk about the defender not calling a dude off? He called Shannon off to go to EB, but Shannon was just behind the defender. I thought, if anything, because it's so fast, the play happened so fast, it looked like maybe he didn't get both feet down, but he did. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was, if anything, they would have challenged that.
Well, 7-0, Don't Sleep scores, and they take the lead. Primetime gets the ball back. First down at the 45-yard line. Chris on 4 rush, throws deep to Sal in the middle court for a big gain and the first down. You know what's funny about this, Lou? This is a guy that they should have had. This is a guy that Don't Sleep should have traded for. And this has got to be great for Sal to get at the team that didn't really want to trade for him. I mean, he's happy on Primetime, but he knows these don't sleep guys. He knows making all these guys.
Right.
But it's a shame when you see something that you could have had really hurting you. That's a great play by Sal with Chris getting them the ball in space.
Now it's that was, I don't know what the heck was going on with the defender. That was like a lazy fly ball type of play, but Sal was in a great position to make the catch because he's backing up. But now, real quick on the trade situation, could I'm just wondering, could Mick have gotten Sal the ball downfield as opposed to Chris, who has a strong arm, even though we've seen Mick throw the ball downfield? You know what I'm saying? You're right. Because Mick definitely would have needed an extra receiver to go to.
A possession receiver.
Well, the part that's left out is the fact that was the fact that Chris was able to get that extra time to make that throw in the first place. Ish was put in there to rush the quarterback and make that tag. And if you look here, he hesitates and he creeps up. He doesn't go right through. He doesn't run straight to the quarterback. He tiptoes in front and then tries to go get the quarterback. So by the time he's able to do that, Chris is able to get the ball off downfield for that big play. He runs straight to the quarterback. I don't think that would have been a throw that would have happened so easily.
Yeah, he kind of did a tap dance, but I think Ghostwood, it might have been because he went towards Speedy, thinking that he was going to dump it off to him before he took off.
That's not your job to worry about. You go for the quarterback. Let the quarterback worry about dumping the ball off.
Let's say, because I'm saying he's right there. You know what I'm saying? If he dumps it off, he still has.
I got you, but my thing is, I would rather go for the quarterback. You see the outcome.
You know, went straight at him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Third and goal after a short run. Chris with a quick throw to Shaba, who makes a nice catch in the front of the end zone for the touchdown. Austin gets a 2-point conversion. 8-7. Primetime takes the lead. It's my man Shaba. Shaba. Thank you, Lou. Appreciate that. Gotta always show my man Shaba, and he makes the All-Star team. Shaba. This guy has been a great player all season. This guy, I love his joy that he brings to the game. You can see that he loves being out there. This guy loves football. And one thing I can say, he loves that end zone. Shaba. And right now they take the lead, 8-7. What you think of the play, Ghost?
That was a quick throw, and the crazy thing is, Albie was guarding him. He was right there. That was just a quicker throw, because Albie was like, you can't play better defense than that. Let's just say that. That was just a good throw to Shaba, just catching him off guard enough to get Shaba in end zone. But again, that big play by Sal is what lined them up for them to get that play. So at the end of the day, they were able to capitalize and finish the drive with a touchdown.
All right, Mick gets the ball back. With blocking from Shaq, throws to Joel in the gap for a short gain. Second down, Mick is blitzed by Austin, is blocked by Shaq, and Mick throws to Joel in the gap for a decent game and a first down. After the play, Randy and Shaq gets into it. Both players will be ejected. Now, we're going to go to the half first. We'll finish this, and then we'll break down what we think, and then we'll jump into the second half. This is going to take it to the last play of the half. Mick throws it up, picked off by Sal, taking us into the half, 8-7. Right now, you're going to have an 8-7 primetime lead. But Shaq and Randy are both ejected. Give me your thoughts of the situation as far as y'all know and what y'all heard and what y'all think. And then I'll tell you what the league is going to do at the end of the game.
Listen, from what I was hearing on the field, I was hearing, pretty much them going back and forth. And it seemed like, Shaq was, getting at him, getting into him.
Well, excuse me. Let me jump in. I'll tell you from my perspective since I was reffing.
Okay, yeah, you do that.
You break it down. They were getting into it all day. And Shaq is the muscle of his team. Shaq trying to give his team the edge. Shaq trying to get Randy to curse and get him out the game. Shaq was kind of antagonizing Randy. Now, Randy was frustrated that Shaq was using his shoulder to block. Them two are battling. Them two are the most aggressive pass rushers and blockers in the game. It's going to be hard for any official to see it. Now, as I go to step up, there is no video on this. We checked, we asked everybody for footage, but because it was on a dead ball play, that's not recorded. Mm-hmm. They're in each other's face. I get in between them and spread them apart, just like this. I bend down to get the cone. As I'm getting up, Shaq says to me, Jay, you don't see you not going to throw the flag. He mushed me in the face. Now I didn't see it. None of the officials saw it when no one saw it. So I told Shaq I did not see it. If I saw it, you knew I would have thrown it. So Shaq was frustrated. So definitely something happened. Shaq words on the field, which everybody in the park heard. Am I right, Lou? Am I right, Ghost?
Yeah.
Shaq says, watch what happens. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, as we moving on to the next play, they get into an altercation. Shaq grabs him, and I heard Shaq put hands on him or nothing gruesome, but kind of grabbed him up, and it was a few swings thrown by Shaq's behalf. I don't want to really get into it because we never want to promote that type of thing. It was unfortunate situation because the Jets were there. The Jets were allowing PAMs to use their field on their permit. We're on the field watching. It was disgusted. I was disgusted with both players. And both players were ejected. Now you go ahead, Ghost, and then Lou, you finish up.
And this is the most frustrating thing. Like you just mentioned. This is pretty much a borrowed field. This is borrowed time that this league is on, pretty much. Pam's allowed us to use the field for the playoffs. Appreciate him. But Pam's is also being allowed to use the field by the Jets, who needed the field at the time. Luckily, we got a game because we were allowed to use the field at the time. You know, as you saw, some of the Jets were there practicing. And they get to see all of that nonsense unfold on the field. Grown men fight pretty much, at each other's, faces, going at it, What are you showing? And this is why leagues get shut down, because they lose permits. And nobody's thinking about that. They're thinking about what's going on with them in the moment. Rather than finish it, settling things outside or wait until after the game and deal with that after whatever issues going on. You don't do that on the field, because that shows that you don't know how to act. You don't know how to be civil. I would say civil's a good word. Yes. And that's troubling. That it is, especially when it didn't need to happen. It's a good game. Guys are going back and forth. It's an exciting game. But when you take it out of the game, what do we have? Just some grown men acting like children, And that's the frustrating thing about it. I'm not taking nobody's side on this. The fact that it happened is nonsense to me. And it's very disappointing. So that's pretty much all I got. Lou, I don't know if you have an opinion on it, but that's what frustrated me when I was on the field watching what unfolded in that day.
This is the thing. If I'm gonna try to get a player out of a game, you remember back in the day in hockey when they would have like the guy that would start fights. You know what I'm saying? Now, okay, if you try to get him cursed, you'll find ways. You could talk crazy. You know what I'm saying? But to get physical, that's a totally different thing. And especially with the kids there. And the thing is that Shaq, who's a veteran, should know about, those stuff like, stuff like this can mess up permits, can get you off the field. You know what I'm saying?
And what are you showing the kids?
You could say playoffs, whatever, emotions are high, but that was totally unnecessary and uncalled for.
I was disappointed in both. Shaq is a former Block of the Year. I voted for him for that award. Randy's up there for Giver of the Year. And it's just an unfortunate situation, and I'm upset with both guys. I'm a little more one than the other because one is a veteran, one knows his game, one is very responsible. And I've seen one, and I'm talking about Shaq, change. When I got to BQFL, I didn't know anybody. I was taking the train, and Shaq was one of the guys that made sure I was good. So I always have a fondness of Shaq, and I was disappointed to see him react this way. I know it was all in the game, and I think some of the old Shaq came back. Now, if Shaq was the old Shaq, he would have swung a long time ago. I think he was frustrated because Randy probably did do something, but it would have been an ejection if Randy would have been caught. The problem is no one saw it.
Yeah.
For old school is, listen, we're going to run the ball and I'm going to take him out on a running play.
Yeah,
but
a play going right through you. Something
right.
Like
you can't become a vigilante and then attempt to, solve your own problem, which is Brandy did mush, and that's the same thing he did. One thing is a little worse than the other, but I was disappointed in both players and both of them were ejected. Now, real quick, 30 seconds or less, give me your thoughts on both teams going into the half. Don't sleep, Ghost and Primetime Lou. So I'm a Primetime Lou. 30 seconds.
Primetime playing good defense. You know what I'm saying? They need again take advantage of when you're in the red zone, and that's what they need to do going into the second half.
With Don't Sleep, listen, this is an 8-7 half. You'll take that. That shows that your defense is playing and stopping this team from scoring so easily. And the thing about it is, Primetime is good at running up the score if they're given a chance. And the fact that they're holding them to 8 points says a lot, and that shows that they're within striking distance to taking the momentum away from Primetime in the second half. All they got to do is just stick with it and make sure that their defense keeps in the same tempo as they have been.
All right, we're going to jump right into the second half. Mo with a nice return, getting him all the way to the 20-yard line for now. That is a great play by Mo. This guy could have been on so many other teams he signed with Don't Sleep, but they better make sure he don't go nowhere because he's a playmaker. Mick with 2 passes in the gap for a decent game. Third down, Mick on 4 rush, throws to ZB in the gap, tipped by Rike. Chris and ZB both get to the ball, but ZB comes with the ball with the catch at the 3-yard line. Now, guys was mad because they said ZB never got tagged, but if you look here, Chris tags the ball. The ball is a part of the body. So that's what's going to stop it. They thought teacher should run in the end zone. You can see Chris clearly trying to grab the ball here, and tagging the ball with 2 hands is similar to a tag. But this is a great play once again by CB Gross, making some great plays, moving them close into the red zone.
And wait for him to fight with the ball and fight for the ball. My thing is, and a lot of people would say if you look at the play that Chris had it first. But understand that ZB did have the ball as well with 1 hand. And the thing about it is, if Chris would have been able to pull the ball in, he probably would have gotten possession and the interception. But because ZB was able to fight with the ball up and able to pull it down with himself, he was able to gain possession of the ball. And obviously the ball always favors the offense when they're having battle plays like that. So wait for ZB to stick with it and fight and come down with the ball.
4th and goal, Mick drops back, throws to Shannon in the corner. Shannon catches the ball, but never breaks the plane, comes out, turnover on downs, but Don't Sleep challenges. Now, this is my issue. And then, Lou, you can take this away. If you look at the play, they kind of run a similar play that they ran before with Shannon in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
But if you see when Shannon's coming back up now, look at this hesitation by Mick right here.
Yeah.
See that little pump? That's when he's supposed to be throwing the football. That little delay, now when he comes, Shannon is coming full speed to the front. Shannon makes the catch, but lands out of the end zone and then tries to put the ball back to Crosby. He's right out of bounds.
Yeah.
But listen, Mick is their quarterback. Mick is their captain. Look what Mick yells. He's arguing with the official, standing right there, and he yells for Heck to challenge it. Now, this is the second half.
Yeah.
A challenge and you lose the timeout.
Right.
Mick is frustrated, tells Heck to challenge. Heck throws out the flag and challenges. Now you tell me what you thought, Lou.
You're right. If he throws it when he pump fake, much easier catch, and Shannon's momentum doesn't take him out. He was out of bounds, clearly. Because he even landed out of bounds. He was in front of the cone and landed out. That was a bad challenge right there.
Both take me to the play now.
And if you look at the play, first of all, another great shot by Dawn on the sideline. Luckily, they went on the side where she's at because she can't be on both sidelines at once. But right in front of her, you see Shannon catch the ball, but he's already leaning forward. The ball never crossed the plane that's a ref call. That was a good call because you see the ball is there. He's already leaning out. Who do I put that on? I put that on Mick because the hesitation and the fact that he was not able to make a throw to an open receiver, an accurate one, while he's in the end zone, that was an easy touchdown that ended up a play that cost him the drive because of Mick not being accurate on that pass.
And then Mick tells them to challenge.
Yes. So,
and that's a bad challenge.
Because my thing is, you need that timeout for later. It's a close game. So why take a chance? It was not a clear touchdown. So if you are not 100% sure, and sometimes you got to be honest with yourself. Am I 100% sure he got it? If not, I'm not taking a chance because we need that timeout later. But because guys sometimes are so convinced that they don't do no wrong, that they're going to challenge it because they know they're right. And when they're wrong, they don't know how to respond.
Well, Don't Sleep loses the challenge and the play stands at the 1 yard line. Don't Sleep is at the 1, could not score. That is another great stop by Primetime. We've killed Primetime. I got on Primetime. And right now, they have Don't Sleep going 1 for 4. So they stepped their defense up, and they're playing very good. All right, Chris gets the ball on 4 rush. He runs with blocker from Austin and Speedy. Chris runs for a nice gain. Great play by Chris, showing off his legs. 4th down, after 2 short passes, Chris throws to Sal in the gap. Sal with the one-hand catch for the 1st down, moving the chains. Lou, this is huge because if he misses this ball, that is a turnover. Another reason why you need to draft this guy. He's not a big athlete, but he's a football player. Great play here by Sal.
Yeah, doing what veterans do. You know what I'm saying? You know, him being a vet, he's making plays. And again, that was a great draft pick by team. You know what I'm saying? Remember, some people didn't think how it would work out with them, but so far, it's been good for them.
Exactly. 3rd down, after 2 incompletions, with blocker from Speedy, scrambles and throws Enrique open on the sideline, getting to the 15-yard line. Chris has too much time. Ghost, he has too much time. They're not bringing no pressure, and Don't Sleep is a team that is 8th in sacks. So they're not knowing that's bringing pressure on the quarterback, and you can see it here. They're giving Chris too much time. 4th down, Chris is blitzed by Shannon, who misses the tag. Chris throws the Sal, cutting in the end zone, knocked away by Albie, turnover on downs. First of all, great pressure by Shannon. Shannon bringing great pressure, even though he missed the tag, forcing Chris to try to force a quick throw to Sal, and Albie with the great play with the knockdown, turnover on downs. That is a great stop. Great stop by Don't Sleep.
You know, I'm wondering, Jay, because there was kind of a floater. That's how Albie was able, because the ball hung up a little. And I'm wondering if it was because of the pressure. You know what I'm saying? Because he did get away from Shannon.
Yeah.
But he just floated the ball enough.
But understand, but look, but this is why, like you said, Lou, you're right. I think the pressure was what kind of messed up the throw there, because he has to roll out, escape Shannon, and then make a throw. It's hard to do that when you're rolling out, worried about the guy rushing in. So yeah, that was a good blitz. I think that he got caught just off guard, that even though he got away, the damage was done, and that led to them making that defensive play there.
If he's not thinking about Shannon, he had open, you know what I'm saying? Because the defender's behind him. So he had him right here.
3rd down, after 2 short passes, Mick is blitzed by Austin, who's blocked by Joel. Mick throws deep to Mo, who has a step on Chris in the gap, caught as he runs it into the end zone for the touchdown. Enrique gets an interception on an extra point. 13-8, they take the lead. If you look here, Chris reacts to Mo too late. Now look, Shaq is not here blocking. It don't matter. They are giving him Mick time. Remember, Mick had time before with that throw to Shannon. He just missed the throw. So even though Shaq is out of the game, these guys are picking up, and Mick has stepped it up, and he makes a great throw. Guys sleep on the fact that Mick can throw the ball downfield at times, and he stretches the field here. Bad defense by Primetime. They take the lead right here, Ghost.
And one thing you said earlier about making sure that Mo stays on this team, I concur. I agree with that 100%, because Mo has been stepping up. The moment that he got on this team, he has been an asset to this team on both sides of the field. And if you look on this play here, Chris catches him way too late. By the time he's able to see him running down the field, it's already way too late. Mo already has a step on him, and that ball is sailing right into his hands for the touchdown. Wait for them to take advantage of a mistake by one defender. And I'm going to just say more on this. The thing about this is you have guys on the sideline for primetime arguing with the defenders here, talking about stepping up, guarding this person. You have guys like Shaba getting frustrated, arguing back and forth. And the thing about it is, it wasn't even him that they had to worry about because Chris got caught sleeping. So this is a time where it's hard to really predict who's going to make a mistake. Unfortunately, on this one, that was on Chris.
And that was a couple of steps, folks.
Yeah.
And you know what? The one thing you can give Mick, there was pressure. And he gets rid of the ball quick on that play. You know what I'm saying? Like, he may not have the strongest arm, but he throws that ball kind of quick and, got it to the right spot for the touchdown.
He's showing that he can adjust. Remember, Shaq wasn't here all season.
Right.
Shaq made just enough games to qualify. But Mick has been playing well without Shaq, So you not having him, is that a big hurt for him? Of course it is. But he's able to adjust, and he's able to go downfield. Shaba also gets flagged for cursing on the kickoff.
Yeah, before the kickoff, right?
So it shows the frustration that they have that Ghost is talking about. Score right now is 13-8. Don't sleep. Second down, Chris throws deep to Austin, cutting in the middle, caught for a big gain and a first down. If you look here, Lou, he's left unguarded, and Chris makes a play right back, going right back at that don't sleep defense.
Hey, and you got, that's where you see maturity in your quarterback. You just got scored on, and you come back and make a play.
Second down at the 25-yard line, Chris throws deep to Creep, wide open on the sideline, caught in the end zone for the touchdown. Austin gets the extra point. 15-13, they take the lead back. Now, this was a complete miscommunication, Ghost. If you look here, I believe Shannon's at the corner.
Yeah.
And now you're going to see him come up. But the problem with the defense is no one rotates. They're supposed to rotate where the safety goes over here. If you see him, he's supposed to slide to the left. He doesn't. Shannon comes up too much and then gives out the outside to Creep. Creep, which is a weird name, but it's funny because that's my guy. Creep, a.k.a. J.R. Smith. Reminds me of J.R. Smith with his shenanigans. Yeah. Able to get in the end zone for the touchdown. 15-13 goals. They take the lead right back.
And this is on Shannon right here. The fact that he was on him in the beginning of the play and then lets him go to watch where the quarterback is looking and then gives away that open pass to Creep on the sideline. My thing is, first of all, I don't think Shannon was right away lined up on the sideline. And there's the thing, Creep just runs right around him. So if he would have stood with him, not worry about the quarterback, and communicate with your other defenders, I think Shannon would have been there to make a play. But because he on his own decides to turn around and watch where the quarterback's looking, as soon as you went to look at the way the quarterback's looking, the quarterback is looking end zone. So by then it's too late to make a play, and Creep is by himself for that touchdown. That was a mistake on Shannon that they could not afford at that point in the game.
You know what it was? Creep ran a slow chair route.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was with him for a little bit, looks at the quarterback, but he saw Shaba in front of him, and he looked like he was going to try to get there, but by the time he went like that, the ball was already behind him.
Hey, Lou, can you say he creeped into the end zone?
Oh.
What in the world?
I had to try. Come on.
15-13. Primetime got the lead. Mick on 4 rush, throws the EB cutting in the middle for a decent game, picking up the first down. You know what's the problem I have with that? That's EB's first pass of the day. This man made an all-star team. This guy's in catch. We see him catching the ball on a top defender in Santana. And this is his first catch of the day.
Well, the last throw was thrown to him was a pick, so maybe that was it.
Second down, Mick throws his EB open on the sideline, high, incomplete. Now, this is a bad throw by Mick. Because if you look here, this is 6 points.
Yes.
Yep. Mick with the nice pump. Corner steps up. ZB goes. Mick misses the throw. That is a complete miss by Mick. If he gets that throw on point, that's 6 points, Ghost.
And that is touchdown number 2 that Mick blew on those throws. That because ZB was wide open by himself, just like Shannon was open by himself on that play earlier, and Mick was not able to make an accurate throw. And I don't even think he was really under pressure on that play either. That was just a missed throw by Mick and a missed opportunity. Again, you're down, so you can't afford to not make this play, and that's exactly what happens.
Third down, Mick is blitzed and sacked by Austin. If you look here, Austin gets through EB and Joel. Listen, Lou, that is a horrible job by them two. This is not on Mick. Mick had no time. Both of them are there. Both of them don't know how to block. We all know Ray Charles in the grave could have saw this blitz coming. Austin telegraphed this blitz. Austin always telegraphs his blitz. And Tiki wants you to know he's blitzing. And they both missed the block, and it caused Mick to get sacked.
He's crazy. He's looking dead at them in running position and well, you see, this is where they miss, Jack. Situations like that. You know what I'm saying? That's where, you know what I'm saying, he's missed. And he just ran right through them. And poor Mick, you know, Mick can't run. So, you know, nothing else but a sack.
Fourth down, Mick throws it up, tipped by Chris, picked off by Austin, giving the ball back to Primetime. Mick's third interception of the day. 15-13, Primetime with the lead. First down with 30 seconds left. Chris on 4 rush is sacked by Mo. Second down with blocking from Speedy. Chris throws the X for a decent gain, killing the clock, forcing Don't Sleep to use their timeouts. Third down, Chris on 4 rush is sacked by Smooth. Primetime will have to punt with only 6 seconds left. I think the whole time they was looking to run the clock. And Lou, that timeout that they lost earlier because of the challenge hurt them here.
Yes.
Because Primetime was able to kill time on the clock. Had they not wasted that challenge on that play, they would have saved the timeout. And that hurt them because they're going to get the ball back with only 6 seconds left. Don't Sleep gets the ball, remember, 6 seconds left. Before the hike, offsides. You see Joel go offsides on the hike. I mean, listen, you lose 5 yards. Luckily, it was a dead ball, or what? That would have been a runoff because they don't got a timeout. This is unfortunate, but this is the undisciplined that they play at sometimes. Next play, Mick with the pass to meet Mo in the gap for the first down. Mo tries to give himself up. Now the game is considered over. They said the clock ran out. Now this is what I thought was funny. Early in the game, Sal got a pass, and I think he stopped from the first down and took a knee. Now, the miscommunication was the official said he thought he gave himself up. Now, the reason I say it's a domino effect is when the receiver stopped moving, the officials are supposed to blow the whistle. I believe the officials blew the whistle a second before Sal kneeled. But the deep ref don't see that.
Yeah.
And if it was another play when Joel got the ball and Joel took a knee, but the ref was already blowing the whistle. But the back ref didn't hear that. So now the back ref is thinking what? You could give yourself up.
Yeah.
Don't Sleep is told by the official that you can give yourself up. If you look at the play with Mo, he gave himself up. You know, everybody's confused. Everybody looking at calling the game. And you see right here, Heck is running up to the official. The line official. And he's explaining his argument. And he's right. The reason he's right is if you're giving missing information, Lou and Ghost, then you will have to play this right. You will have to go with the next play based on the information you gave, even though it was wrong. So they're going to have to allow Don't Sleep to have one more play. Now, Coach Tiki was upset because he said, talk to the clock ref because the time had ran out. It was 6 seconds. He got upset about that.
Offsides,
but he's 110% wrong. Because if you listen, You can hear him say 2, I believe, and then he takes the knee. Where is 0? He said the ref had said 0. He argued that the ref said 0. He was wrong. It was time left, but you can't give yourself up. But because of the official telling them that, the league had to run one more play. Now, what about, first of all, let's go step by step. What do you think about the count? Do you think it was 0?
I didn't hear 0. I heard the whistle being blown right when I believe 2 was announced. Because if you look at where Mo caught the ball, he's already down on the ground anyway. That was the whole play for him not to move and catch the ball and not move. To just pretty much give yourself up because they didn't want not a second to go after he catches the ball. That's why he was already on his knees. The thing about it that people get confused when guys make plays like this is sometimes when there's a play where guys don't want to pass a first down and they just standing there or whatever and there's no forward progress, time does run on the clock. But eventually the whistle is blown to stop the play. But time still has to run off the clock before the whistle's blown. You can't stop the play right away on the catch. That's giving yourself up. That's why you can't do that. But the thing about this is because he did it right away, there was still time left on the clock before the whistle was blown dead. Now the ref, like you said, explained, gave a wrong rule. So
and he admitted it.
That, yes,
he admitted it.
Listen, it was a mistake. And certain people on the field also argued and said, oh, the ref made a mistake, but you can't change it. I'm like, you have to. It's a difference if a ref misses a tag or if a ref missed a hold or anything like that. You can't reverse that and bring it back. But if you tell them the wrong rule and you don't fix it in the game, it's going to seem like the refs are purposely manipulating the game for said team. And you can't let that go. You have to fix it. Otherwise, this will never be a game that can be called honestly by the refs. There will always be scrutiny in the middle of it. So that's why the ref had to honor and admit that they made a mistake, and then they give the extra play for the offensive team because they were told something that wasn't true in the end.
Your thoughts, Lou?
Now, definitely he dropped down, and remember I told y'all he looks around. I don't know if he's looking around like, okay, you're gonna blow the whistle, or he's looking, because of what happened in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me, I don't know the rule like that, but I would be like, look, okay, you made a mistake, it happened, got away with it. Now, because look, to have to well, now you're not even really giving them an extra down because there still should be time on the clock.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
But they didn't have no timeout. And if anything, you're saying, so like, how the dude will stop before the first down and he'll just be running around. You'll just blow the whistle so he won't be ever. So if anything, there's 2 to 1 second left.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That would be the safer thing.
Right.
And I'm gonna, because the refs messed up in the first one, we have to do it. You understand what I'm saying? Like it could have been a catastrophe.
Yeah.
I think in hindsight, the play should have been ran over with 6 seconds left. Just run the play over, 6 seconds left, put them back at the original spot where they got the offsides, and start from there and say, remind them you can't give yourself up. Yeah. That would have been the safer thing to do. But, everybody was arguing and you don't break down the information. But now looking at it, should have went back to the line of scrimmage where it was, 6 seconds put back and redo the play because they were told wrong information. Rather than move them up and give them one more play. I think that would have been the agreed upon, let's do it this way. But at the end of the day, regardless of which one you do, Don't Sleep deserve to get one more play. Regardless. They have deserved to use one more play because information they were given were not right. And that's like saying, Lou, I tell you it's third down. You run a play incomplete, and now Ghost says, no, that was fourth down. Mm-hmm. Whose fault is that? I made a mistake, but you lost it down because of that. Mm-hmm. What would you do to fix that?
You would have to do it. Look, I've seen that in a game.
I've seen that.
In a playoff game, and a team lost. The ref One said third down, the other one said fourth down. It was actually third down. And they turnover on downs. That's and the league, you know what the league said? Oh, we should have argued it on the field. What? You don't have no replays. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I get it. It's tough. That's one of those situations that you never want to happen again.
Word, exactly.
You know?
Well, Don't Sleep gets a free play, one more play. They throw it up. And Primetime is one of the worst Hail Mary teams in football.
And that's why Tika was going insane about this play as well. Because he didn't want this to happen.
And luckily for him, they brought in who could reach the end zone. The ball gets knocked down. Almost. It was close.
Yeah.
But the ball gets knocked down. Primetime comes away with the win, 15-13.
Yeah, that was way too close.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts real quick, and I'll break it down.
They blew this game. Yeah. Straight up, they blew this game. I can count 2 touchdown passes that were given away by Mick by himself. And both of those plays could have been difference makers. And the fact that he argued for a challenge that didn't need to happen cost him a timeout that they could have used for this last drive. So I put this on Mick. And it's hard for me to say because I've been rallying with this guy all season. I've been showing that, Mick deserves his flowers. He had a good season this year. And, obviously with the return of him starting quarterbacking for this team, coming back from injury, he played well. But this was probably one of his worst games this season. And the funny thing is, the game that I believe he played before was against Primetime where they was shut out. So it's funny that you come against a team twice and play 2 of your worst games. Unfortunate. And the thing about it is, this could have been different if a couple plays would have been made, better decisions would have been made. But not only him, the disappointment in Shaq comes back to bite them in this game as well. Because Shaq being here can be a difference maker. I think that kind of threw them off too. Having a guy that's protecting your quarterback get ejected early in the game, it throws your momentum off. It throws your whole vibe off. Now your team has to recollect and, start that up again. So these things shouldn't happen. But one person I do feel bad for is Shannon. All season, this guy's been putting all of his energy into helping his team win. And he's been playing well this season, doing whatever he got to. And he tried this game. He really did. That one catch in the end zone, wait for him to stay in the end zone. Wait for him to stay in bounds and make that catch. That second play, he was just out trying to make a play, even though it was a bad throw. So I can't kill him. He did what he had to do. And he was able to come in and make a sack in the game. So he was doing what he got to do. So I feel bad for all these guys that stepped up and to come up short with a game like this where they had it in their hands is very disappointing.
Well, Primetime, look, played good defense. Offense could have done a little better. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Tiki paid them off to play better defense after last week's tongue lashing. And so yeah, they played good defense. It might have been, some payoffs because of Stephen J pulling out stats from last week. You know what I'm saying? I think for them to be successful moving forward, they have to take advantage when they're in the red zone. You know what I'm saying? This could have been a one-time fluke with their defense. They're playing a good GTM team next week. You know what I'm saying? They just got to tighten up as they go forward in the playoffs. Tiki did his job for this week, because especially if you don't hear Stephen J say anything bad about him.
I give you my thoughts. I'm gonna start with Don't Sleep first. I completely disagree with you guys. Shot got ejected, and that's a huge piece.
I'm not saying that's why they lost, though.
But Mick, the next drive, on that drive, he threw the ball up. They got blitzed. He threw the ball up, threw interceptions going into half. In the next 2 drives, Mick went 7 for 7. Okay. 7 for 7. Then after that, he threw a pass to EB, which was a great pass that finally got him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't throw a short pass to Joel. They didn't throw a pass to Mo that he missed. And then the bad block by EB and them and Joel caused the sack. That didn't do a shot. Shaq was already out the game.
But I'm not saying you're right.
Listen, no, listen.
Good.
Shaq got ejected and the team still played well.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq had nothing to do with it. Mick missed throws that he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
So that is what cost them.
Mm-hmm.
So they can sit down and say it was Shaq and not excusing what Shaq did, not saying that they wouldn't have been better with Shaq, but the same way Shaq got ejected for the scuffle, Shaq could have got ejected for cursing. Shaq wasn't here all season, made 3 games. So you already played without him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like having him all season. It's not like if Street Fam lost Jice. That's different.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to allow people to say that cost him. It didn't. Mick missed the throw to Shannon. Mick missed the throw to Mo. I'm sorry, ZB. And Mick got sacked on a play where 2 of his guys could not stop one.
Yeah.
Mick forced his coach to use a challenge that they needed the timeout. That is what cost you. Their defense
you're right.
got caught and let Creep walk into the end zone. So it wasn't the fact that Shaq made the team lose their momentum. Don't Sleep has a problem of playing undisciplined at times. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with Shaq. So we're not going to look and say Mick gets an out. And my thing with Mick, if you listen to Mick in the beginning of the game, and you're going to block it out in the huddle, he brought the troops together and said, F the refs. He said it, right?
And I respect that.
Huh?
I said, and I respect that.
Correct.
Yes.
And then he's complaining about a call for a fight. He's arguing with the refs rather than get on his blocker for getting into it. Then he's arguing with the ref in the front of the end zone, even though he saw his receiver come out, try to put the ball across.
Yeah.
So he forced them to use a challenge. And then they dropped the player that they knew didn't want to play with him. When are we going to start taking responsibility in what we're doing wrong? Am I going to say Mick is not a quarterback? No. Mick is a quarterback. Mick deserves to be playing. People may not like his style. Mick could be my quarterback. But I got to question Mick being my leader. Because until he learns to lead the troops 110%, it's not going to work. It's okay to have it together when you're up. The real championship guys and quarterbacks can keep it together when they're down. And at times when Mick is down and Don't Sleep is down, they find ways to blame other people. That is the issue. That is a problem. Shannon showed up all the time. Shannon should be up there for Johnny Rockstar. Mo could have played on several different teams. Mike is a multiple all-star who stays on this team. They have the weapons. Why is EB getting one ball in the second half? One pass. The other one was picked off, and now Mick was scared to throw over the middle to him. These are all mistakes that I'm giving you. They can say whatever they want. Facts are facts. Now, on the other side, Primetime. You held Don't Sleep to 2 for 7. Great defense. Are they capable of playing defense? Yes. But a broken clock is also capable of being right twice a day. Unless they can do it against GTM this week, then it's just going to be looked at, you just stopped the bad offense. They need their defensive leader, Brike, to do what he does. He's their muscle and he's capable of making plays. They need Speedy to be what he was. Whatever the league decides to do, and they'll find, I think, on Friday, if Randy's going to be suspended or not. But if he is suspended, Speedy can play the giver position. So they're okay. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. You're 3-6. You won the wild card game where pretty much you was a favorite to win this game.
Mm.
The real test comes against GTM, the number 1 team in the West, the number 3 offense in the league. That's what it comes down to. And we got to see what they're able to prove against them. But I'm very impressed with what they showed defensively. Offensively, they left a lot to be desired. Sal dropped a big touchdown pass.
Yeah.
You know, they got sacked, which cost them to have to punt. So they went 2 for 6. I'm not impressed with their offense, but defensively they played well. And the question to see is if they could keep it going.
Yeah, that's much needed because defense was very spotty with this team. You know, sometimes they'll make some good plays, but then they'll give big plays up at the same time. So I think defense is going to be one thing that has to really step up. They did that this game, but they, like you said, they're going to need to keep this going if they want to survive throughout the rest of the playoffs. Because without it, I don't see them winning the next game without it, honestly.
And I think the next game is going to be a shootout. I
agree. Because GTM is coming to put points on. They finally get Gumby back. Gumby's been hurt. He hasn't been here. He made a few games, but he was unable to play because he had to go to work. So he will come early to the game with Flo and then leave. Just to, you know, and you know the thing is, that's a thing. Do you start Gumby? Like, I know he's GTM. I know he's been hurt, but if you start this guy, Tiki's going after him early.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, they might because Twin, the one who plays defense for them, he's deployed.
Right.
So been around anyway, so they might just as fill a spot, but you haven't played. That's going to be tough.
Yeah. So I mean, you qualify, no one's going to care. They had a forfeit, and they had 8 other games. He made a game and left, and then made a game early and left. No one's going to argue, but if he gets on the field, they're going after him, especially you're playing against guys like Slutty and Tanner.
The person you worry about is Lou. Because if Lou gets on his stride and has time, it doesn't matter who's on the field. Lou's going to run up the score. So I think that's the main thing that Tiki's worried about and is focusing his attention about at the end of the day.
Last thing real quick, and Lou's been led the Western Conference in scoring in that division. Real quick with Don't Sleep, now that their season's over, they got to trade Alex. If they don't trade Alex before the start of next season, they'll lose him for nothing. Now, what happens is Alex will be able to go to one of the wildcard teams. The wildcard team was Monarchs, LES, and Primetime, because obviously Don't Sleep is the other one. He'll put his name in a hat. We'll do it online live, and whatever team get him, he'll go to that team. He'll be undrafted, but now he loses his money, his opportunity to win money. He won money with Monarchs last time, won $1,000 when they won. So because now he'll be considered an undrafted free agent, he will not be, you know what I'm saying, able to get any money. And he has to go to one of those teams. Now, those are pretty good teams. But Don't Sleep better find a way to trade him before the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, and obviously those 3 teams are not going to trade with you because they got a chance to get him on their own. But Tiki might, because, I mean, we'll see, but because you have a chance to get him, but it's 1 out of 3, rather than just trade for him.
Yeah.
Could they trade Lil for him? And then Lil go to Don't Sleep if Lil's going to play next year? I don't know.
That's the thing.
But I would do that. But we got to see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap this one up with Primetime moving on to the next round, beating Don't Sleep 15-13. We'll be right back.